future version of yourself that you have imagined in your library or at your desk, superimposed on a memory from the past, and then when you think about it, it comes to the present. What if you could remove emotions from old memories? Basically pulling out a file and changing the metadata. So basically, you would look at your brain as if it was the computer, your awareness and visualization is the operating system, and the memory is a file. So the way you would do this is you need to sit down, do really good breath work, as in calming your whole system, calming your mind, and getting ready to visualize. Why would a person do this? Well, I'm going to use myself as a reference. So from my childhood, I have memories that come up a couple of times a year that just really put a damper on my whole life for probably a couple of days. And I had to figure out a way, is like, how do I experience this memory without it just totally messing me up for a couple of days? And so we all have experiences in our life, maybe not everyone, where we have a memory that is one of these crucial pieces in our life that kind of messes us up when we remember it. Well, it's stored away in our hard drive, in our mind, and we have the ability to pull it out, look at it, and then put in new metadata. And that metadata, basically, look at it this way. It is telling your body to have these certain emotions and then put on this certain cloak of identity, which that identity is who you felt you were in that memory. So here's what I want you to do. It's like, get a calm mind, sit down, and then visualize a library. And then visualize yourself walking into your library/office, and you are about 30 years in the future. You are completely healed, and you are helping other people. And you'll remember from the last video, this is a little bit the same because we're opening up the program. We're the operator. And your visualization of the library is your program to access this memory. So as you go into there and you sit at your desk, it's important to really feel that you are in the future and yet you are sitting there accessing memories from the past. Because when you recode this memory, the identity that you have while you are doing this is going to be the new metadata in the memory, the way you rewrite it, as well as what your emotional state is. So it's very important to be very calm and have this being done when your emotions are totally pleasant, because that's what's going to be in the metadata. So you sit down at your desk, you have the identity of being in the future, and you're completely healed, no problems, and your emotions are serene. So now you visualize opening up the book that is blank that you're going to write in. And now the next part is very important. It may not be the easiest thing to do, but this is the work that nobody's going to see that's going to pay off tremendously. And so basically, you're going to be time traveling of like putting a future identity into a past memory that's going to be presented and put on you in real time. So go ahead, pull up that memory. Now, the thing is, you don't have to watch the whole memory. You don't have to think about every detail of it. What I want you to do is just imagine the memory is this big sphere, the whole thing at once, because the mind is incredible. I want you to imagine the whole memory all at once, just kind of above you while you're sitting at your desk. Now what I want you to do is imagine this memory is morphing into a line of ink that goes into your pen. So what you're doing is you're taking the energy and the power from this memory and you're turning it into the ink to recode this memory and change the formatting. So now what I want you to do is look down at your blank page with your pen and start writing, this is what happened. This is what I felt. These people were this, that, whatever it may be. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's so important that you visualize writing out the word or the words that are describing how you felt and what you saw and what happened. And it could be simply 3 sentences. This happened. This is who did it. They were wrong. And this is how I felt. And it is okay that I felt this way. And then at the bottom, write out, this is part of my story. And this is part of who I am. But it no longer controls me. And I'm recalling my power. Because when we remember stuff like that, we actually lose our internal power. Because we can put on that old, weaker identity. And we pull up those old emotions. So once you've done this, you've basically taken that old memory and you converted it into a text file in your mind. Because when you visualize things, you're creating a memory that you can file away. Now, what you did is when you created this text file, the metadata with the emotions in it are calm and serene. The metadata that has your identity in it is of yourself 30 years in the future, healed and writing your memoirs. And this story is going to help other people heal through their traumas and their tragedies. So here's where the magic is. Now, when that memory starts coming back up, it may be way, way less potent than it was. For me, it's way less potent now. Because the way I see it is that I'm reading it and then I'm kind of visualizing it. So it's almost like I'm reading a book, then kind of seeing it. But when I do that, the emotions that populate are calm and serene. And then the identity that populates on me then, from the inside, is being empowered and strong and in the future. So this is so cool. You have your future version of yourself that you have imagined in your library at your desk, superimposed on a memory from the past. And then when you think about it, it comes to the present. So now your subconscious sees the identity of you in the future, the past, and now, which is a far stronger version of yourself or of myself when I was in that traumatic moment. So now when I observe that moment or it comes back up, guess what? I feel empowered. I put on the identity of being the highest version of myself. It's literally like magic. It's incredible. And I had another little rabbit trail to go on, but I may not go down that. So try it. It's a little bit of work. It can be a little bit daunting. For me, it was a pretty rough memory. I had tried other techniques where I would imagine that I was a hero and I was superimposing myself in that memory and I would save myself. And that didn't really work. But this has totally shifted myself into being able to view those memories, and it comes across internally as like I'm reading a book, and it's empowering. It truly is. So to recap, create a safe space in your home where you're calm and your mind is at ease, and then visualize your library. And then really think about what it feels like to be that healed version of you in the future. And then open your book up and you start writing, and then imagine that old memory all at once just going into a line that's the ink in your pen, and you write it out simply. And then once you do this, you close it and you put the book away visually. So it's kind of like you're in the operating system and you have a program, you opened up that file, you no longer need that file, so you close it and put it away. Now when that memory comes up, this takes practice. This is the mental work that nobody sees. You might want to add to that story a little bit, add a sentence or two. But every time you're doing that, your brain is imagining that you're reading a story and then you're visualizing it. And you're starting to have control in creating the pathways of how this memory is accessed and how the memory is stored, and that you can put it away on your own, and it doesn't have to play in your mind. It doesn't have to burden you anymore. It now can become this piece that is the piece of your story that is empowering. It's like that part of a hero's journey or a hero's story where this major event happens, but it changes them at the core, and then they become the hero. And if it weren't for this horrible incident, they would have never become that hero. So that's the way you look at it in your story of like, wow, y'all never knew how powerful I was, that this is what transformed me. And the last thing, food for thought. A seed doesn't grow without dirt on top of it. So all that garbage that's been piled up, you're that seed down there growing. And it takes years to see it. But finally, when that strong oak starts coming out of the ground, it has strong, strong roots that are growing, and it grows up to be powerful. And if you're a horticulturist, I might have said the wrong thing. Please forgive me. Roadhouse, spiritual hard.